Read me a story, read me a rhyme, something that happened once upon a time. It can have monsters, princesses too, wonderful kingdoms, may believe in true. Read me a story, read me a rhyme, something that happened once upon a time. It can have monsters, princesses too, wonderful kingdoms, may believe in true. Read me a story, and when it's true, here's what I promise to do. Read me a story, and when I can read, I'll read one to you.
I am Mrs. Loida F. Abidanya. I'm teaching in Pinaglabanan Elementary School. I've been here for 5 years, but I taught in the private school for 17 years. Being a teacher is a unique profession. If you are a teacher, they say a teacher is a noble profession. It's not only a profession, but it's also a vocation. Being a teacher, it touches the lives of the students. I love to teach English because it is where I learn. In fact, when I was in college and even when I applied for the teaching position, in fact, I was not fluent in English and I had a hard time speaking in English. But then when I practiced about it, when I practiced speaking in English, I discovered that I am already learning how to do it, how I am learning how to speak English fluently. In grade 1, my experiences in grade 1 is you really have to develop in them the love for reading. You have to ask questions and you have to let them do or make an activity which is related to the lesson and develop grammar in what they are doing. Well, you really need to develop confidence among the students because it is their way of expressing themselves. In our classroom, we have our cooperative learning, which is the grouping. We do that in CLE, Concentrated Language Encounter, wherein the students have to group themselves. I have 4 groups in my classroom, and then they are given activities. They have to work together, help one another, discuss. That's why it is called cooperative learning. So they discuss with one another, they come up with the correct answer, and if ever they have the wrong answer, it is where they learn. They learn from their mistakes. And then they develop grammar, they develop how to make sentences because I ask them to write a word, to write sentences of what they do. Well, I enjoy teaching. When my students come to me, say for example, they already in grade 2 or on the next level, they come back and say, "Ma'am, thank you. I learned from you and I enjoyed in our class in grade 1. So I am very happy."
I learned about CLE way back in 2002 when I was incoming district governor, and they started CLE in Marikina. And then during my year, one of the clubs under me started it also. This was the Rotary Club of North Bay East. And later on, in the second half, they also encourage another club, Malabon East, to also undertake the program. I was of the belief at that time that the government could not improve the ratio of student to teacher, that ratio would be maintained at about one teacher to every 50 students. So there was a need for a much more effective method of teaching that could still train 50 students under one teacher, but do it more effectively. And I believe that the CLE method was that method.
I remember 7 years ago, Mr. Tony Puyat and Mr. Albert Ang went to my office and talk about CLE and proposed that it be implemented in this division. Of course, they explained about it and gave me some brochures and literature on the program. And so the next time they came, I told them that I like what I read. And so that was the start. We started with 5 schools, initially selected schools. And they started training our teachers and principals. They are Mandaluyong Elementary School, Doña Pilar Gonzaga Elementary School, Highway Hills Integrated School, A. Bonifacio Integrated School, and Hulo Elementary School. The following year, all schools implemented the program. We have 16 elementary schools, 16. Oh, definitely we had seen concrete improvements, and I personally conducted a simple action research on the effect of the program, because when we had the first graduates of those pupils who underwent the CLE from grades 1 to 6, and these are students from the 5 schools. When they took the entrance test in the Mandaluyong Science High School, or City of Mandaluyong Science High School, I studied the results. And those who topped the test and those who got 95 up to 99 plus, I tallied the schools and come up with a ranking. The 4 of these 5 schools occupy the first 5 slots, top ranking schools. Only one was not in the top 5, but I think it's ranked 6 or 7. Aside from that, I noticed the improvement in the classroom discipline of students. When you visit schools now, and after a few years of implementing CLE, you can see the enjoyment, and the discipline of the students. The unnecessary noise was eliminated in the school. If you hear them with some noise, it's learning noise. I think the teachers are using the same approach in teaching Filipino, because there is not much difference in teaching the subject. English, Filipino, they teach the same skills, but different language. And so this could be applicable to any other native or mother tongue.
Well, I believe that Rotary was very lucky to become acquainted with Dr. Domingo, that we had a very supportive partner who chose the right personnel to work with us. And it was that personalized attention, I believe, that made our implementation very smooth. Rotary is only a catalyst, but the implementer will have to be the Department of Education and the teachers and the entire administrative staff. We only had to bring in the programs, perhaps get to know some of the first names of the teachers so that we could encourage them whenever we would meet them, call them by first names. And I felt that that was the only role we had to do, to keep on encouraging the teachers, because this is something new, and something new is always more difficult to implement. Well, in the later part of the implementation, we became aware that getting other groups like parents, the neighborhood association would greatly help. Well, even the government to familiarize the local government with the method that we are trying to implement, that it would really help if they knew more about our program. So we have been trying to improve our relations even with these people so that eventually the division superintendent would not be all alone in pushing the program.
Our relationship is very important. And our relationship with the mayor, with congressman, these are very important relationships that would really lead to pouring in of more resources to our program. And aside from that, as he had said, our parents now are oriented on the program. They know already about CLE and the role they have to play at home, because as children learn to be more communicative, one of the suggestions I give to parents is that you talk to your children at home, ask them stories, what happened in the school. And so these children are so eager. So the relationship of parents and children also improve.
That's why it's very important that we learn how to communicate. Because if we learn something, whether it's in formal schooling or informal, unless we're able to communicate what we have learned from this, that knowledge is confined to only one person. But if you learn how to communicate, it can go to hundreds or even thousands.
Or millions.
Yes.
Well, education is what a person acquire, not only from school, but from anywhere where he is able to utilize the skills he learned from school. I mean, education is not being provided by the schools alone. Education is the total accumulation of knowledge and experience and the things that they are able to learn on their own based on the experiences that they have gone through in school, in the community, in the home.
I'm Zulpi Velarde.
I'm Ria Cassandra L. de la Cruz.
I'm Daniela Marie Gonzalez.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a pilot.
I want to be a nurse.
I want to be a teacher.
I want to be a geologist, a paleontologist, and a scientist.
I want to be a teacher.
It also touched my heart when I see them learning how to read, learning how to tell a story of their own, learning how to write and express their own ideas.
My favorite class is English. My favorite subject is English.
I want to be a teacher.